Rally Majinu, Paula Kruger, ABC Radio, Canberra Wurrigi.
So when you first finish school, getting your first job, it's a very exciting milestone. But for many people on the autism spectrum, it can also be very daunting. You have to be in a job interview where you promote yourself. That's not something you do naturally. You have to read the social cues in people and people that you've only just met. And then you have to figure out a way of communicating in a workplace that can be quite noisy. These are all obstacles. 23-year-old Canberra man Darien Judge has been working for almost 2 years in IT at the Australian Bureau of Statistics after joining a specialist recruitment program. And Darien is keen to share his experience and encourage other autistic people and their potential with employers so that they can see the benefits. Darien is with you right now. Darien, great to have you with us on Afternoons. How are you going today?
Hi, Paul. I'm going great. How are you?
I'm really well. Thank you so much for asking. Hey, Darien, can I just ask you about what your experience was like getting a job, especially after you first left school? What were you hoping to do?
Honestly, I have to say that I had a little bit of a struggle at school. So by the time I actually graduated, I was 18 and I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life.
So what were you up to at that period, in that period of time, Darien?
Well, not much. Honestly, not much. Like I said, I just graduated year 12 and I didn't expect to actually get through school. I didn't have a lot of motivation or anything. So I guess once I accomplished that one goal I had, I was just sitting there on the other side of that goal, just looking at nothing really.
So when you were sitting on the other side of that goal, Darien, what would you describe as some of the obstacles that having autism, what were some of the obstacles that prevented you, someone with autism, from getting a job and getting into the workforce? Well,
as someone with autism, I also have anxiety and depression, so I do struggle with motivating myself and not doubting myself. Unfortunately, those are two really big things. Confidence is really, really important when looking for a job and when going for further education. And when you don't have that confidence, it can be really hard to convince yourself that it's actually worthwhile to go for jobs or just get an education. I mean, why would you commit yourself to something so big and scary if you really honestly believed you were going to fail?
I can just imagine what it would be like for someone like you, Darien, who's in a job interview where you've got to say everything you're good at and got to sell yourself and got to be so confident. How did that fill you with a lot of anxiety, the idea of doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I often found myself being expected to take the opportunity when asked questions in an interview and really run with that and convince them why I was the best for the job. But that doesn't come naturally to a lot of people, especially not people who lack confidence, who have been told by other people their whole life that they're not going to amount to much. So I would just give very blunt and short answers like, yes, I can do this, no, I can't do that, or no, I'm not sure. And interviewers really aren't looking for that. You know, they're looking for you to say, yes, I'm the best person for this job. I can do everything. And even if they ask you a question and you feel uncomfortable with it, they say, hey, can you do this? And it's much higher than in skill level than anything you've done before. You're expected to say yes and convince them you can get training on the job.
Darien, it sounds like you were too honest.
Yeah. A lot of autistic people are. They feel legitimately uncomfortable with lying.
So how did you get yourself to the point, Darren, where you are now, where it sounds like you have, you're 23 years old, and it sounds like you have a really good job working in IT. How did you get to this point?
I would love to say entirely just a lot of hard work, but also a lot of luck and a lot of compassion from people around me in disability employment services and Specialisterne in the Dandelion project. I was lucky enough to be supported and to be offered an opportunity with Specialisterne to participate in their program. And I was working really hard. I was in CIT at the time, so I was taking some steps to, I guess, improving my life. But I honestly wasn't prepared for the amount of commitment that it would require. So I did have to put my CIT course on hold so that I could fully engage in the Specialisterne program.
And so when you say that you've got these programs that you're involved with that help people with autism make it into the workforce, how do they help? Do they help you figure out how to behave in job interviews, or do they help the employer understand how to have an environment that is more comfortable for you to work in, Darren?
To some extent, I would say both. I think disability employment services is more about coaching you and helping you not just to survive. They're not holding your hand, but they're helping you to understand what difficulties you may have and what problems you may run into. But Specialisterne really puts a lot of focus on both sides in supporting you, but also supporting the business, in supporting your managers and your team, and providing education on autism to the people in the workplace.
Hey, Darren, do you like your job?
I really, really enjoy my job, not just for what I do at my job, but for the way it's changed my life.
How did it change your life?
Well, I went from, like I said, just looking at my future as a big, vast, empty space where there were no commitments, nothing really motivated me, to now I get up, I go to work. I actually don't mind getting up early instead of sleeping in till 1 p.m. every day. I actually get up early, I go to work, and I feel like what I'm doing with my time is meaningful. And then I get home, and I actually value my time because I don't have that much of it. I mean, I do have a significant amount, but, I'm not struggling to find things to fill my time with anymore.
And the time that you do have, Darien Judge, you like to reach out and make sure that other people with autism know that they can also get a job and the difference it can make. How important is it for you to do that for other people?
Well, I've met a lot of fantastic and wonderful people in my life. Quite a few of them have been very incapacitated by their mental health, and not for lack of trying or anything, just because some people don't have the freedom to work and to perform as society expects them to, I guess. So I guess I really want to take the opportunities that I'm given to talk and spread my message, because I really value those people, and I want them to be understood.
Darren, what would you say to someone who may be finishing school and was in the position that you were in when you finished school? What advice would you give them?
If anyone is struggling with any issues pertaining to mental health or autism or anything like that, I really recommend people look at services and organizations like Marry Me and Disability Employment Services, and just any kind of service that can get you a mentor or a psychologist, someone to talk to and someone who can support you. I made a mistake very, very early on in thinking that I needed to take on the world on my own, and that if I didn't do it, if I took medication, if I did anything that I guess constituted as hand-holding, that it wasn't my own accomplishments. And I really, I wasted a lot of opportunities.
Right. And what would be your advice, Darren, to someone who's an employer who is looking for people to work for their company or work for their organisation who maybe didn't consider before, hiring someone who is on the autism spectrum? What would you say to that person, Darren?
Well, I've heard of people being contacted recently about setting up programs to do hiring initiatives for people on the spectrum. And I've heard employers respond with things like, oh, no, we don't hire those people anymore. We don't do that kind of thing. And I just want employers to know it's not a charity. You're not going out of your way to hire a quota of autistic people. They actually, more often than not, perform better than neurotypical workers. And that's not to put anyone down. It's just to say that their contribution is actually very valuable, and they can often apply a different perspective to the team and to projects that they're assigned to. And a lot of the time, they will actually make tasks more efficient, processes more efficient, and they'll find more efficient ways to do the BAU, the business as usual every day,
Yeah, absolutely, Darren. And you know what, Darren, you just sound like the kind of person who it would be nice to be around as a work colleague as well. So there's that element too, I guess.
Thank you.
Look, Darren, it's been wonderful talking to you today. Thank you so much for your encouragement for other people on the autism spectrum, and thank you so much for your time here on Afternoons.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm more than happy to speak at any opportunity.